Good morning, Jaguars, and welcome to another edition of Fuel Your Drive. Students, before we get into today's homeroom activity, I do have a couple of quick, brief announcements to go over. The first one is just a reminder about the cafeteria. Students, when you come to the cafeteria, remember the first thing you should do is get in line, whether that's for breakfast or for lunch, right, and then take a seat. Right, these last few days, we've had a bit too many students who are either hanging around or hanging in the back of the line or not moving forward. And when you do that, you hold everyone else up. Right, we get it that you might want to see your friends, but we have to keep everyone moving so that everyone can get their lunch in time and get their breakfast in time. All right, second announcement is for iReady. Students, we have a couple of incentives for you for when you do well in your iReady. And the big one is the youth fair. If you go up 2 grade levels in either your math or reading iReady, you will be able to go to the youth fair for free. Again, if you go up 2 grade levels in math or reading on your iReady, you will be allowed to go on a field trip to the youth fair. Additionally, students, if you are already on grade level in reading and math, you will also be allowed to go to the youth fair. All right, so with those announcements out of the way, all right, let's get into today's activity. Last time, students, we talked about goals, setting new goals for the school year. Today, we're going to dig a little bit deeper into how to achieve those goals, and we're going to use that using 3 tips to success from 3 people you may know of already. Those people are Michael Jordan, Beyonce, and Big Sean. So without further ado, let's get into some of their tips for success.
Imagination. How many people you know, for real know, made it, got on? Nobody from my city. Detroit? Hell nah. I ain't no Eminem. I don't know nobody who did.
Yeah, them waves is for real too.
I know I made it my point to be the one who made it. The one people knew before I made it. To show everybody it was real. I grew up watching Biggie, Mace. I wanted a rollie like Pac, feel me? I wanted money like Master P.
Hey, you see what it is, man? I'm
Stunned like the
up.
big timers. Wanted to pop champagne, feel me? I wanted to put my crew on, have a label like Rockefeller, put the city on. You know. I started off young, spitting, rapping.
Hey, turn me up.
Trying to be a role model, trying to be signed. I knew I was gonna make it, I just ain't know how.
Ain't nobody fucking with us.
But I knew. My mom taught me early on, this world is what you make it. You create your own environment. It all starts with a vision. What you can imagine, you can create. I came up middle class.
Family!
Not really having shit to spare, not having no money to spare. Had to work for new clothes, gas money. I always wanted to give my mom what she wanted. You know, cars, Benz, houses, whatever. I ain't have it, but I could see it in my head. I could feel the energy. My imagination was real to me. The people who used to tell me I was wasting my time or said it wouldn't work out were the people who they ain't have nothing. It wasn't until after meeting the people I grew up to, getting a chance to meet my idols, work with them, I realized they believe what I believe. Imagining it, changing the world, changing their world. A lot of people could imagine, but wouldn't believe it, couldn't fathom it. Not me. I believe. I had imagination.
All right, so one of Big Sean's key to successes, as we saw, is imagination. Right, being able to see yourself somewhere where other people might not be able to see you, or where you might not necessarily be able to see yourself, given what's around you, but you believe it can happen. All right, so where do you imagine yourself in, let's say, 20 years? where do you see yourself? And no imagination is too big or too silly. For example, Mr. Alfred imagines himself in the White House in 20 years. So nothing's too big or silly. Where do you imagine yourself in 20 years? All right. Hope you had a chance to write that down. Maybe share it with the person next to you. Now let's go on and move on to our next person, Beyonce.
She's an American singer, songwriter, and actress.
Her first solo album sold 11 million copies. She has won 20 Grammy Awards. She's Beyonce, and here are her top 10 rules for success.
Everything that I've done, I've worked so hard from until my toes are bleeding and no complaints. So it takes so much hard work, and I think the more you have to work for something, the more you cherish it. And every time I think about doing something silly or something that's going to be detrimental to my career that I built, I think about all that time I've sacrificed in my childhood and my family and all the people that worked so hard, and I could never disrespect all that I've worked for. I could never disrespect my fans. I could never disrespect the opportunity that I've been given.
All right, students. So we just heard from megastar Beyonce, and her number one rule for success is pretty straightforward, right? Work hard. She talks about working so hard that her, feet have started bleeding. That's how much she's worked hard for her dreams. So two questions I want you to, take a moment to answer and share out with your classmates or with the person next to you is, can you honestly say you are working hard to achieve your dream? And if you're not, what's stopping you? All right, since now that we've had a chance to answer those questions, let's go ahead and lead into the greatest of all time, MJ.
Maybe it's my fault. Maybe I led you to believe it was easy when it wasn't. Maybe I made you think my highlights started at the free throw line and not in the gym. Maybe I made you think that every shot I took was a game winner. That my game was built on flash and not fire. Maybe it's my fault that you didn't see that failure gave me strength, that my pain was my motivation. Maybe I led you to believe that basketball was a God-given gift and not something I worked for every single day of my life. Maybe I destroyed the game. Or maybe you're just making excuses.
All right, students. So one of the greatest of all time, Michael Jordan, just laid out for us all things that he had to do in order to be one of the greatest. And he challenges us not to make excuses for ourselves, not to make an excuse for why we could never one day be just like him. And so, teachers, I need your help on this one. All right, I want us to think about what are excuses we have made in our lives, and let's brainstorm together. How can we overcome them? Teachers, please pause the video at this time. All right, so I know we looked at some amazingly successful people. We've talked about big ideas and big goals. So I want to leave you with this very short video on how to achieve big goals one small step at a time. All right, students, so that is about it for today. But before we end, I do want everyone to take just a moment to answer this question. What will your first steps be? It can be 1 step, 2 steps, or 3. What steps will you take to start inching towards your goals? Because we can get there, no matter how big they are, just 1 step at a time. So let's have a great day and take those first steps.